As needed. Two simple words. They sound comforting until you realize they usually mean, if you don't ask, it probably won't happen. I didn't know it then, but I was about to learn one of the biggest lessons of caregiving. So last episode ended with me hoping, surely the worst is over. Yeah, about that. Mom had made it through her first surgery. She came out of the anesthesia without any complications. Huge sigh of relief. That felt like a win. Finally, something had gone according to plan. Now all we had to do was wait for the swelling to go down before her second surgery. Simple. Except this was hospital time we were dealing with. The second surgery for her leg was scheduled for Friday. Meanwhile, the hospital was still trying to track down a foot specialist for her fractured foot. No one was answering the phone. To be fair, it was Christmas week. I wasn't exactly expecting any holiday miracles, although at this point I'd have settled for a returned phone call. The days settled into a strange routine. Every morning, I'd walk the dogs, force myself to eat a quick breakfast, and head back to the hospital. Then we had doctor visits, blood draws, vital signs, waiting. Lots of waiting. Friends stopped by to visit. My sister kept sending me money through Zelle with strict instructions to buy real food instead of surviving on vending machine snacks. My husband came home early from visiting the family for the holidays. Little by little, my support system showed up. In between all of that, Mom and I watched old movies together. Believe it or not, the hospital had a better cable package than Mom did at home. Those quiet moments helped Mom and I deal with all of the stress, and they were actually enjoyable if we can just forget the circumstances. Every evening I'd head home, walk two very confused dogs, grab a couple of hours of sleep, then wake up and do it all over again. After a while, you stop measuring progress in days. You start measuring it in little things. One of those little things, Mom wasn't eating much. I'm just laying here all day, she'd say. I'm not hungry. I understood. She was taking enough pain medication to knock out a horse. And yes, before anybody makes any comment, I could usually get her to drink the prune juice. Water? Apparently, that was asking for too much. Finally, Friday arrived. 2:00. The orthopedic surgeon walked into the room. Never a good sign. Surgeons usually don't stop by personally unless something has gone wrong. He looked at us and said, "I'm sorry. Because of the holiday staffing shortages, we're going to have to postpone today's surgery. The earliest I can get you back on the schedule is Sunday." Sunday. 2 more days. 1 full week after the accident. At that point, what else could we do? Watch another movie? Try to eat? Try to sleep? Hope Sunday would actually happen? That's another thing nobody tells you about caregiving. Sometimes your only job is waiting. But I was getting really good at waiting. I was also slowly learning something else. Advocacy. I just didn't know that's what it was called yet. I thought I was just being a good daughter. On Saturday, one of my friends stopped by to visit. She looked at Mom's hands. They look awfully swollen. I stared at them. She was right. How had I missed that? And that's when I had one of my first real caregiver meltdowns. Not the kind where you cry, the kind where the guilt hits you before the logic does. I was keeping track of medications, surgeries, family updates, insurance, taking care of 2 dogs, trying to remember which specialist was responsible for which body part. Honestly, I'd kept joking that I'd forget my own head if it wasn't attached. Then I reminded myself, I wasn't a nurse. I wasn't a doctor. I was just a daughter doing the best I could. Nobody tells you, but you're going to miss things. You don't want to, but you will. There are simply too many missing pieces. The goal isn't perfection. It's paying attention. And when you do catch something, say something. So the nurses ordered x-rays. We never heard another word about them. When I asked, I was told, we're only notified if something's wrong. I wanted to believe that. I really did. But then Mom started getting very congested. So a respiratory therapist came in and gave her a breathing treatment. When I asked when she'd get the next one, I was told, as needed. It sounds comforting, until you realize somebody has to decide it's needed. That somebody is usually you. So I asked, because that's what caregivers do. Sometimes your job isn't fixing the problem. It's simply making sure the problem doesn't get forgotten. And if you're realizing just how overwhelming caregiving can become, I created a free Wicked Daughter emergency binder checklist, the resource I wish I'd had before the sheriff had called. You can download it free at wickeddaughter.com. It'll help you organize the information you'll need so it's at your fingertips when life suddenly changes. Now back to our story. Sunday morning finally arrived. This time, I was able to walk beside Mom as they wheeled her down to surgery. Somehow, that made saying goodbye even harder. Before they took her back, one of the nurses stopped me. Can you sign some papers? We're going to give your mom a blood transfusion before surgery. A blood transfusion? Apparently, her blood count was low. They assured me it wasn't unusual. Okay, just one more thing I hadn't expected to hear. I kissed her forehead and promised I would be there when she woke up. And then I watched the doors close behind her. The surgeon called a few hours later. The surgery had gone well. She was in recovery. Mom came through the anesthesia without any complication. So for the first time in days, I finally let myself exhale. Maybe, just maybe, we were finally turning the corner. We weren't. That night, my phone rang. Next time, Mom's heart rate was 182. And suddenly, I had a brand new medical term to learn. AFib. If you haven't already, hit follow so next Tuesday's Meltdown finds you automatically. New episodes drop every Tuesday. Until then, take care of yourself, drink the coffee, eat the sandwich, ask the extra questions, because sometimes as needed really means somebody needs to ask. And if the hospital actually follows through without a reminder, we're calling that a win. I'm the Wicked Daughter, managing your aging parent, one meltdown at a time.
When your friends say cherish this time, you smile while you're losing your mind. Was it the pharmacy line or the rush hour doctor drive? So you swallow that glare with a laugh and a sigh and say, don't fret, dear, we're having the time of our lives. Oh, we're having the time of our lives. Wicked Daughter.